At least with this next clipper system, maybe even 3 or 4 inches in some areas. Here you see the beginnings of it here, stretching from Minneapolis almost to Green Bay, Madison, Wisconsin right now, Rockford right on the edge of that as well. But what we will see are some of these bands of lake effect actually being enhanced by this as well as this clipper does push on through. So if we take a look at our radar and we time this out for you, our future mode here, this is noon, and we're going to continue to see the development of that snow down east of the lakes here, pushing throughout the day today. And again, on the eastern or western side rather of Michigan here, could see a couple of inches piling up. Grand Rapids up to Traverse City. Detroit may be getting a little bit, and then Buffalo in play once again for you, as well as Erie, which has just gotten crazy amounts of snow. And believe it or not, Erie, you could still be getting, get this, another 9 inches, adding to those impressive totals there after your feet of snow. So this is a look at what's still to come ending Sunday evening. Yeah, 8 to 9 inches here in these areas that are still digging out and hit so extremely hard. So we'll take a look here at Erie, PA. Temperatures are going to be cold once again, basically in the teens for the next couple of days, and the snow continuing to fall. Maria, they're not getting a break. All right, you live there, you're probably not wanting to go outside at all, right? We have 12 in Chicago right now. Interesting, the National Weather Service office just posted or tweeted Siberia here to describe the weather in Chicago right now. 5 in Minneapolis, 8 here in Des Moines, 12 in St. Louis. We've got the cold air just locked in here, and those wind chills also bitterly cold across the area. Take a look at this. Feels like 0 here in Siberia right now, 0 in St. Louis, and -8 here in Des Moines, Iowa. So dangerous cold also, to say the least. Definitely would take care if you are heading out or you're working outdoors. 15 tomorrow in Chicago. We see this Arctic air mass shift just a little bit here to the east, so you get maybe a little bit, a few degrees reprieve here, but the cold is going to be hanging on all week long. So tomorrow 17 for your high in Chicago, -1 in International Falls. Saturday back down, we get another reinforcing shot of Arctic air coming right back in. Temperatures running well below average.
Below 0 as the low so far today. And yeah, it's going to be a tough recovery because you have a brisk wind as well, and at those temperatures it doesn't take much to make it downright dangerous. So for that reason, we have the wind chill advisories in the light blue, the wind chill warnings in dark blue. Include Syracuse, Scranton, Burlington, Portland, Boston, Worcester, and Hartford. Basically, those wind chill temperatures are going to be in that 10 to as low as 30 below 0 plus. That is already cold enough for sure. Binghamton at 3 right now, New York at 14, a balmy 22 in Washington, D.C., but you can see with that wind factored in, feels more like 21 below in Burlington, feels like 16 below in Boston right now. So obviously not going to see temperatures budge a whole lot warmer. Everyone across the region, Julie, going to stay below freezing, and that includes for many of us tomorrow as well. Say that you have to have fun, right? But if you're in the south and the southeast, this may not be your idea of fun. It's an Arctic chill for sure, and for many of us, it's going to get colder. But this is the payback for the hot and humid summers, right? All right, let's crunch the numbers now. It's 23 in Nashville, it's 39 in Atlanta, and notice you have that sort of northeasterly flow. If you want to escape the cold right now, the place to be is Central and South Florida, 60s and 70s right now. For today, though, you're barely getting out of the 40s here from Dothan. Jackson at 46. Nashville, you're hanging in the 30s by tomorrow. Maybe some a little bit of an improvement here. 51 in Atlanta, 43 in Raleigh. You can see by Saturday already those purples starting to descend again. We've got 41 in Nashville, hanging on to the 50s in Atlanta on Saturday, but you're down to 40 for a high on Sunday. So think about outdoor plans, New Year's Eve plans. That means most of your day is going to be spent in the 30s, and those 40s getting all the way to the Gulf Coast. Now, the trend for Atlanta, as I sort of hinted at, it is going to get colder. We're peaking tomorrow with that bright sunshine at 51, and then we hang out in the 30s for high temperatures Monday and Tuesday to welcome 2018. A lot of company feeling that chill for 2018, Julie.
In much of the forecast for the south as we do start off the new year. But what is freezing rain and how does it form? Why is it dangerous? All questions, meteorologist Mark Elliott explains.
Love that visual and fascinating. But we've got a little bit of everything on our maps here as we head into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Let's get you ready for it. We start with tomorrow. It is rain in Seattle, temps into the 50s. But here's the evidence of our Clipper coming by, along with the ability to make snow. We've got it pretty cold. Bismarck at 0. Chicago tomorrow 17, with those snow showers arriving by the afternoon. We get to Saturday, and maybe it's that last dash. I'm going to stop saying that because I can't get it out properly. To the supermarket for your party, your New Year's Eve party. We've got temps into the 20s and that snowfall arriving in Pittsburgh and Scranton, as well as into other parts of the Northeast. We get to New Year's Eve and 20 degrees, but sunshine in New York. It's still cold in Chicago, still cold in Bismarck at 4 below. But here we're going to keep an eye on that potential for maybe some freezing rain as you head towards, say, Jackson, Mississippi. So heads up there. South of there, just a cool rain. Atlanta, we're looking pretty good Sunday night. This is a nice relief for anyone who is concerned and watching the models flip-flop with the snow potential. It looks like we may be good to go here for driving conditions there and back. But look at that wind chill. If you are going to be out and about watching the peach drop, wind chills will be down into the 20s for the entire night. Chicago, same deal. Crystal clear skies, but bone-chillingly cold. 0 at midnight and falling below 0 as we start 2018. And that wind chill factor going to be in that 10 to 20 below range for the night. Denver, too. Temperatures in the single digits, but dry. Wind chills below 0. And Seattle looking great. Temps right about freezing. Well, we know it will be
here. Now we've got bubbles. I like the bubbles. Pretty creative. All right, so we've got the Arctic air in place, and that begs the question a lot of people are asking, oh, what about climate change?
Right, because, you know, it's counterintuitive. If it's really, really cold, then, well, how is the planet getting so much warmer? There's still obviously a lot of cold air out there. 200 million people now with temperatures that are below freezing. But context and scale are really, really important. And this is a look at the temperature anomalies across the entire globe for today. And where they're negative, where it's colder than average, is in the U.S. and across Canada, a little bit of Greenland as well, a little bit of Northern Europe. But the positive anomalies, the warm anomalies, far outweigh the cold anomalies.
Well, you can clearly see that. I mean, very little blue compared to the orange and the red on the maps.
I mean, it really is overwhelming. And, you know, another really important part of this story is the size of the United States, the lower 48. It's pretty amazing. I ask school groups this all the time, and I say, you know, how much as a percentage of the world does the United States take up? And I often hear, you know, 10%, 5%, something like that. In reality, it's 1.5%. 1.5%. So
what happens?
Yeah, what happens here in the United States really doesn't have that much bearing on what's going on globally. It's really important to look at the larger picture, and it's clearly warming, and it's been doing that for a long time.
Think outside of the box here. Exactly.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, and another part of this also is that we tend to see very wavy patterns when you get into the wintertime in particular. You've got this warming that's occurring over the oceans, and so there's going to be a weakness in between there, and that's going to allow cold air to spill southward. So it's pretty typical to see that.
All right.
So all of that having been said, let's take a look at the pattern going forward. And as we go into next week, it starts to get a little more interesting. Still a lot of cold air in place. This is the European model, and you see just a little bit of a notch right, whoops, didn't mean to do that, just right in there, just a little bit of a notch right in there. And so what this European model is telling us is maybe we're in for some snow in the southeast coming up. Then beyond that, it's pointing to a more significant storm. You see the notch clearly right there. So the northeast perhaps getting hit with a big storm coming up next Thursday, and then the cold air continues to be in place through a lot of the east beyond that. GFS is a little bit different. It's not seeing the south storm as much, but it is pointing to a storm in the northeast.
One thing's for sure, it will be cold out there for millions of us here in the U.S. at least.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Carl.